Terminus was the Roman god of boundary stones. Every February, in his honor, they held festivals called the Terminalia. They would offer sacrifices on their nearby boundary stone markers, pouring ashes and blood into a trench, cover it with pine branches, and setting the contents on fire. When the show was over, they would set the stone on top of the trench and go back home, hopeful that their neighborhood was safe from all evil influences. Over time, both statues of Terminus, which were just generally crude stones, sometimes with human heads on top, and then all boundary markers came to be called termina, and by association, terminus came to mean endpoint. Obviously, the English words terminus and terminal derive from the Latin, and so does the word term, whose root meaning is preserved when we speak of a pregnancy coming to term. Originally used to mean limit or end, and then the limiting conditions of an agreement or a duty, and thus we speak of an academic term or negotiating terms. The use of term to mean a verbal or mathematical expression is due largely to the Greek mathematician Euclid. Euclid used the Greek word for boundary point to speak of arithmetic variables, which he considered to be terms or limits of larger sets or quantities. Thus in English, term came to be used as a name for an element in a mathematical ratio. Meanwhile, back in the classical period, Latin logic masters extended the use of terminus from mathematics to philosophical argument, applying it to the definition or limitation of a concept, and by extension to precisely defined and fixed expressions. Thus came our word, terminology. In English, the philosophical usage of term showed up in the 14th century and preceding the mathematical use of the term, which was in the 16th century.